It's estimated that over 14,000 new cases of skin cancer will be diagnosed in 2018. Basal cell carcinoma is regarded as one of the most curable cancers, yet campaigns such as Slip, Slop, Slap have caused constant media persecution. Some ask, how much is too much? Tonight, Sally sits down with controversial skin cancer activist Mickey the Melanoma.
Good afternoon, Mickey. Thank you for giving us your time today.
Good afternoon, Sally. It's a pleasure to be here.
As a melanoma, can you tell us more about basal?
I, Basal, and many others like us started out just as normal skin cells before we became cancerous. There are actually three broad categories of skin cancers. There is melanoma, like myself, squamous, and of course, basal.
So, can you tell us more about basal's early days?
So basal was able to grow due to a number of reasons, such as having lighter skin complexion, living in areas closer to the equator, having a tendency to burn rather than tan, and exposure to ionizing radiation. But most importantly though, basals develop from intense periodic exposure to ultraviolet radiation.
So sun exposure caused basal to start growing. How exactly did this exposure lead to his development?
Well, the true identity for the cell of origin for basal's remains are up in the air. But one group of humans found that in mice, activating the somatic mutations in SMO induced formations of basal cell carcinomas when conditionally expressed in basal keratinocytes of the interfollicular epidermis, but not expressed in hair follicle stem cells. Later on, another group showed in mice that the induction of uncontrolled SSH signaling by overexpression of GLI2 transcription factors resulted in the development of BCC-like tumours. The clinico-pathologic type depended on the cellular compartment in the skin where the GLI2 was selectively overexpressed.
That sounds complicated. Can you break that down for our viewers?
Sure. Basically, superficial basals arise from interfollicular epidermis, and nodular basals develop from hair follicle stem cells. However, conditional loss of P53 also created basals from basal keratinocytes of the interfollicular epidermis, in addition to enhancing development of basals from the bulge.
So what you're saying is that depending on his circumstances, basal can come from basal keratinocytes or the interfollicular epidermis of hair follicle.
That's it.
Well, thank you for sharing your story about basal. I think we have all learned a thing or two about basal's development. Thank you for your time, Mickey.
You're welcome, Sally.
Thank you, Sally and Mickey. What an interesting character Basal is. Now to Tina with sports.